Hi everyone, Linda Israel here. And I had a video not too long ago that talked about when you're in a creative slump and what to do about that. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another method to help get through that creative slump. And this is just my method. And it's going to be a mixed media art. And I like these because you don't have to think. You just do. You just create and have fun with it, and don't worry about the outcome. Worry only that you're enjoying the process. So come along and let me show you what I'm going to do today. Alright, so I have very basic supplies that I'm going to use today, which are some acrylic paints and Tattered Angels Glimmer Mists, maybe some scribble sticks. It just kind of depends upon my mood. The first thing that I'm going to do is, we used to own an insurance agency, and when we sold it, I ended up with a bunch of these really nice heavyweight business cards. So I thought what I would do is I would see if I couldn't turn these into some kind of fun mixed media project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to coat them with a little bit of gesso, but I don't want to deal with each one individually. I think I may end up changing this after I do a set and see how it works out. But what I'm going to do is turn these over, and I'm going to line up, I don't know, 3 or 4 of these. So I just have some washi tape here, and I'm just going to tape across the seams in the back, and then that way I can work at this as one piece. Alright, I have taped all the pieces together and I trimmed off the excess, and basically I just wanted them as one piece so that I could just paint the whole thing, and then when I go to take it apart it'll be individual pieces. So I've just got some gesso. I've got a little palette here. I'm going to put a little bit of gesso in here. I buy it by the gallon and then refill this bottle. So I have gesso all the time, so just basic standard gesso. And I've got a old gift card, credit card that I'm going to use to spread the paint. So I'm just going to dip into my paint here and then just scrape. So I'm going to cover these all over the images here, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. Alright, I used my heat tool to dry this so I can move on to my next idea. And what I'm going to do is, in my little palette here, I'm going to add some black, just standard craft paint, and I'm going to use my little credit card to smear it around a little bit. I don't know, I may change my mind. I may end up using the foam brush. And I'm going to use a stamp, and I'm going to dip into this paint, and I'm going to stamp on this, just randomly. And I'm okay with it being messy. And then I'll go wash my stamp right now, that way I don't have to worry about it getting crusty. I washed my stamp off, so it doesn't look any worse for wear. It's a little damp, and it won't hurt it any. I've dried this just a little bit with my heat tool, and I have a stencil. It may be hard to see, but you'll see it soon enough, that I just created, and I have these stencils that I show in my shop. I started making my own stencil mainly because I couldn't find something that would work the way I wanted it to work. And I like my stencils to be 8.5 by 11 in landscape mode. So I've got another palette here, and I'm going to get some color to put on the back of this. And I think I've changed my mind that I don't want to paint this with paint. I think I'm going to use some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mists. So I have some true turquoise and black cherry glimmer mists, and I'm going to spray this randomly. And then while this is still wet, I'm going to take a book page and just lay it on top. I'll lay a couple of them to soak up the excess glimmer mist. No reason to waste any of it. So there's the pattern. And then here's what it looks like on there. Cool, huh? I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so I'm just going to set my stencil aside, and I'll use that later for other projects. Now I'm going to hit this with my heat tool for just a moment to help soak up and dry some of this. I have a leaf stencil that I made, so I'm going to lay that on here now. And I'm going to grab some green Tattered Angels Glimmer Mists. I think I want to get another color. So I have Blarney and Hemlock Green. And with Tattered Angels, you've got to shake them up. They have mica in the bottom. And generally, you don't want to shake them up and down because if you take the cap off and you shake it up and down, it could splatter all over you. So it's not a good idea. Again, I'll grab another piece of paper or two to soak up the excess. So there's where the mop-up page looks like. And then this is what that looks like. So it's building. We're building some things here. I'm going to dry this again. So this time I have a circle stencil that I made that I'm going to lay on here. And I'm going to mix up some paint. Let's see, I think I want some turquoisey paint and a little bit of this metallic green. Oh, and I've got a metallic turquoise. So we're kind of mixing this together. And then I've got another credit card. And what I'm going to do is just drag this over the whole thing. So I rubbed a little bit harder in the stencil and then I peeled it up. And doing that, it kind of peeled up some of the paint. And I'm kind of liking it. Let's see what it looks like now. Oh, that's cool. Isn't that cool? I like the way it looks. Alright, what else? What else do we want to do to it? I think it's missing something. So I'm going to stop the camera and dry it and I'll be back. I figured out what I want to do next. I have a rubber stamp of this daisy-like flower and some purple Americana acrylic paint. So I'm going to put some in my palette again in the corner. And what I'm going to do is take the foam brush. I've got a foam brush that I've put, I'm dipping into the paint. And then I'm going to pat it onto this stamp. And I'm going to stamp it. So I'm just going to repeat this all over the canvas. So now I'm getting some white acrylic paint to put in the same spot where I had the purple paint a moment ago. And I'm going to kind of mix it just a little to make it a lighter shade. And I'm just stamping over the previous image. And I'm not worried about it not being lined up all the way. I'm going to go wash up my stamp and I'll be back. Well, that has dried. And I cleaned up my stamp. So again, I washed my stamp. It's got a little paint on the edge, but it's not going to hurt the image because I got it all scrubbed out. And now I'm trying to decide what do I want to do next. And I'm liking the way this is. I think all I want to do next is add some yellow to the centers of the flowers. So I've got some acrylic paint here, and again my little palette. And I haven't cleaned my palette off yet because when I'm done with this video, I'm just going to make a mess of papers. So I've got a pencil eraser. I just found that this was pretty easy to make little dots. And so I'm just going to make a few little dots in what I think is the centers of these flowers. And again, it's just going to be messy. It's not going to be perfect. And I'm just having fun. Alright, so I'll fast forward through this so you can see what that looks like when I get done. Alright, that's dry, and I've decided one last thing that I think I want to add, which is some Tattered Angels Glimmer Mists. My label got dirty, but this is a clear, dazzling diamond, so it's going to add some shimmer to it without changing the color. So I'm going to spray that on there, and then I'm going to heat set it. Not heat set it, dry it. So it's got some messy edges to it, which I can fix with trimming or just wiping off. But there's my panel. I like it. So let's take it apart and see how the individual panels look like. Okay, it took me a moment to get the tape off, but I got it off. And I'm going to trim some of this paint off the sides. So you're probably wondering, okay, now what do you do with these little pieces? Well, you can use these to embellish a journal card and journal, to make a greeting card. Now look at all of those. Aren't those awesome? I love it. I love it a lot. I may scan this in because I kind of like the way they look as individual pieces. Alright, I hope that inspired you. If you have a creative slump, grab some paint and some random paper and just play. Just kind of goof off. If you don't have this stamp, take some fun foam and make your own little shape that you can plop paint down. I have my stencils for sale in my shop. If you have any questions, please use that comment box down below. If you have any comments you want to make, use that as well. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and of course, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know whenever I put a new video up, it's time to come see it. Well, check the description box for links to my social media connectors, as well as the blog post that kind of details the stencils that I used and whatnot. Thank you, everyone. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Have an amazing day. Bye.